Picture this, a young, impressionable kid, just 14 years old, sitting in front of his TV, eyes glued to the screen. It's not just any fight. It's his hero stepping into the ring for what promises to be an epic battle. This was Muhammad Ali versus Larry Holmes. This kid had posters of Ali all over his room, knows every move, every fight by heart. But tonight, Holmes does the unthinkable. Against all odds, he's outmaneuvering, outlasting, and eventually he's standing victorious over this kid's fallen hero. But what's fascinating isn't the loss itself, but what it ignited in this kid. Instead of disappointment, there was a fire, a resolve. From that night on, this kid started training even harder. Those posters on his wall turned from mere decoration into a sort of silent mentorship. Every jab, every footwork maneuver, he practiced not just to win fights, but to honor his hero. This fight, this moment of watching his idol's defeat, became the catalyst for his own journey in the ring. Let's just say this young fighter went on to honor his hero by achieving great heights himself. We can guess this kid grew up to be the one and only Mike Tyson.
But rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx the Conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever.
To steal the third man in the ring has got his work cut out was Mike Tyson. Whoa, the right hand! I doubt if he'll be able to get up from this.
Iron Mike has made history. He has made a name for himself and became a household name in the world of boxing and entertainment. Everybody knows Iron Mike.
Everybody knows Mike. Mike Tyson, baby.
But what's even more scandalous than the ear bite has to be the rumors circulating about his fight with Jake Paul possibly being rigged.
Which we all know that was rigged for sure.
Well, let's take a look. We are FJ.
And I am DJ.
And this is Rumor. So you guessed it, today we're taking a deep dive into the rumor that the fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson may have been rigged. What are your thoughts, DJ?
Well, we'll go over all the details that we have accumulated, but from first sight, since the night that we watched the fight, to me, it looked rigged. Mike started really hard swinging, going fast, and then it just died out. Some people can argue to say that's from age, but there was a lot of shots where he could have taken, and instead he was just biting his glove, doing nothing. That's what we're going to talk about here today and give you our thoughts of what we think about the fight and why we think it was rigged.
Well, I think we can agree it was pretty disappointing. Now, I don't watch boxing. I'm not a boxing fan whatsoever, but I actually tuned in for this one just because I wanted to watch it with you. It was an important night.
Well, it was a lot of advertisement too, and I think that's one of the reasons, because both parties made a lot of money and a lot of people tuned in to view it, which kind of sucked because Netflix keep this connecting, at least to us, and that's the rumor that everybody else is saying, that it wasn't working very well for everyone, which a lot of us was coming that way. But yeah.
All right, so let me throw a few stats your way. Mike Tyson, born in Brooklyn, New York, in a rough neighborhood and often got in trouble, until he met a trainer that changed his life, Cuz D'Amato, and his stats in his professional career are just jaw-dropping. And like I said, I'm not a boxing fan. I don't really watch boxing, but I got into watching some boxing to prepare for this episode, to do the research. And it's really impressive. I mean, he has 50 wins, 6 losses. 44 of the wins have been by way of knockout. So the sheer power in his punches had made opponents scared, as he would often end matches by the first round. He wasn't called Iron Mike for nothing. So let's get to the fight with Jake Paul. To me, it just felt a little too orchestrated. And really, I really wanted Jake Paul to lose. I don't know if it's the trash talking or if just the history behind it, but I really wanted Mike Tyson to win.
But also, if you look at some parts, which I've seen all over social media and everywhere, at the end of the fight, where Paul gives Mike a hug, saying good job. You can read his lips, and he's saying, "I got your money," which is another dead giveaway to me. And that's the first thing that comes to mind. Plus, it was mostly throughout the fight that you could just see it. It wasn't Mike. You look at the training videos, and he was killing it, just going hard for long periods of time, and for him to it just looked like he wasn't trying. And I feel like both parties were faking it. It was, I think, mostly sold for entertainment. Like, we'll make a bunch of money. This is a fight that everybody would tune in just because of the history of Mike Tyson and Jake Paul trying to build a name for his name. So there was a lot of benefits to this fight, with either party winning or losing.
Okay, so let's talk on it kind of in pieces. So before the fight, there's that infamous video going around social media that we've both seen where Paul steps on Tyson's foot and Tyson slaps him. Now, to me, that doesn't look staged. That seems pretty real.
Oh, that was pretty real. I think so, too.
So there was it almost feels like there was some anger. There was something happening where they wanted to fight each other. So when you expected them to fight, it shouldn't feel like it was rigged. But for some reason, it was, or it felt like it was. So let's go through kind of the fight itself. Just some pointers. So they come out. Tyson has his head low, by himself, just walking towards the ring. Now, I watched a few videos of Mike Tyson throughout his career. Even his last fight before Paul, he walked out with a group of people. His head was not low. Just this time, he's walking out, his head low. He already looked defeated. When I was first watching this, of course, I'd never seen a fight between anybody, but I'd never seen a Mike Tyson fight. So I didn't know if that was his character. But Paul, on the other hand, came out with a bedazzled car. Let's actually watch the video of Jake Paul coming out in the car.
Jake Paul knows how to make an entrance. If it's a customized Chevy Dually, crew-cut truck built by Gas Monkey Garage, full hydraulic lowrider with 12 inches of suspension drop, double metal flake paint with airbrush flames, wet sounds audio system. It's driven by Heavy D Sparks of Diesel Brothers and of Heavy D and the boys. Now that we found love, what are we going to do with it?
Okay, so then he came out singing the song that Tyson sang in The Hangover. I thought it was a way to mock Tyson, but maybe it could have been seen as admiration. I'm not sure. But it was an interesting thing that he came out singing that song. So once the fight started, we see him throwing some punches. Tyson really had control of 2 rounds. It was really looking like an amazing fight at the beginning. Right out, Tyson was hitting hard. Paul was generally on the retreat until you get to about round 3 where it all crumbled. And that's the part to me that felt staged, where it felt real up to the end of the second round, and then it just felt staged. So continuing then, after that point, Tyson was barely hitting and Paul was really the only one charging. I have to say, though, Tyson being, 58?
58, yeah.
He could still handle 8 rounds of punches, so that's pretty impressive in itself. But here comes the rumor. Before the fight, did you know that a alleged script came out before it even started? The script showed Tyson getting knocked out by round 5.
Yeah, but he didn't get knocked out.
Right. So a lot of people are speculating that it was a fake. Or could you argue that the script came out, they got wind of the script and changed the script?
That could be it too. There was also a lot of bets involved in this fight, which a lot of people don't understand, I think. And the bets can always sway fights. There's a lot of big money involved.
So they can essentially change the script at any point if the fight was scripted. Okay. How about the training video? So we talked a little bit about this before, but he just looked so fast and he was just beating on the guy that he was training with.
I mean, this is Mike Tyson. All the way 50 years old. He's been fighting his whole life. He was world champion by 20 years old, which is a record that is still has not been broken. Doesn't matter 58 or not. Of course, with age, energy goes away. We all know that. But Mike Tyson being in fights in and out all of his life, and 58, we saw the training video, so he's still in great shape for a 58-year-old, and he still has some iron left in him.
But the point is that he was not, the way he was in the training videos was not how he was on the ring. And of course, I guess it can vary because, real life fight versus training can be different. But wouldn't we expect some kind of speed or some kind of agility or something to come out of him, at least in the first two rounds, more than what we saw? I mean, this is Mike Tyson.
No, I am disappointed too in a way because of the fight. I expected a little bit more fight happening and then, just dodging, bouncing around the ring, trying to kill time to get on to the next round. So that was a little bit of a disappointing fight, I think. For me, I expected to see a little bit more from Mike Tyson and from Jake Paul, claiming that he is the boxer that he is, wanting to fight Mike Tyson. I expected a little bit more from him too, but it didn't seem that the fight professional level heavyweight fighting that you would normally see, even from people without a name. And we're talking about Mike Tyson over here, and then Jake Paul was trying to make a name for himself, trying to fight the best. You would expect to see more than what we all saw on that night.
Okay, so then let's talk about the contract. What actually happened on that night? So in the contract, so the type of fight that it was, the fight was an officially sanctioned professional boxing match, which means the result would count on both fighters' professional records. The structure of the fight was set for 8 rounds, with each round lasting 2 minutes instead of the standard 3 minutes for professional heavyweight fights. That can be seen in different ways. Maybe it was set shorter because Mike Tyson is older. We're just speculating at this point. So onto the gloves. Both fighters were required to wear 14-ounce gloves, which are heavier than the usual 10-ounce gloves that are used in heavyweight contests, potentially to reduce the impacts of punches or to aid in safety. So the reason why you would have a heavier glove would not be to hit harder, but to actually hit less, because the glove itself is heavier. So it would take more energy to get more of a punch out. So supposedly knockouts were allowed. Contrary to what was speculated online, social media is passing around the idea that this was a no knockout type of fight. Like there was a no knockout clause, which is why they said that he was not destroyed in the first round. And by he, I mean Jake Paul. There was no headgear that was allowed. So obviously none of the fighters had headgear. And then we get to the financial details. So Jake Paul was reportedly set to earn $40 million on this fight. Mike Tyson was expected to earn $20 million.
And $5 million that Jake Paul said he would give to him, at least that's the rumor, if Mike Tyson lasted more than 3 rounds. So he actually, not a rumor, he made a statement, and I don't know if Mike Tyson agreed to it, but it did come out and made a statement and said that, hey, Mike, if you last more than 3 rounds, I'll give you $5 million. But if you don't, then you'll have to get a tattoo saying, I love Jake Paul. And nobody really knows if he agreed to it, but it certainly seemed, looking at the fight, like he did. And
so that's interesting. So you think that, or at least from what was speculated online, from what Jake Paul has said, that the longer that Mike Tyson lasted in the ring, or at least past round 3, he was going to get more of an incentive.
But there's also a rumor that's going around. They're saying that if because Mike Tyson is known to end fights quick, right? And even back in the day, when Mike was fighting all the promoters and everybody that got, especially like very pricey tickets, were mad because they're gathering there. They go to Vegas, for example, for like a whole weekend to see this big event, like to fight. And then Mike Tyson comes out there 20 seconds in, boom, knockout. And then everybody gets to go home, right? So everybody, and then people start getting mad, like, hey, come on. Like, we're paying all this money to see all this fight. And then you go over there, you see Mike, boom, 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 just knocking everybody down. And then bye-bye, go home. So there was a clause in the contract, at least is what's going around, is that if the fight ended by round 1, Mike Tyson would get a minimal, like a fraction of the $5 million or the $20 million. It was going to be even less than $5 million. If he lasted more than 3 rounds, then it will be a little bit higher than that. And then if he lasted more than 3 rounds, then it will significantly get higher and higher and higher. And then in order to get the $20 million, the fight had to go to at least round 7.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, that's a big rumor that everybody's talking about.
Well, what's typical of Tyson is that he is known for his ferocious knockouts. I mean, I don't have the stat.
Even people that don't know boxing know that.
Yeah, like something around half of his wins, don't
More.
me, are by knockout in the first round. I mean, I watched a lot of his professional fight videos, and there's just, I mean, within the first few minutes, they're out. So
once Mike got you, you were down. That's all. A hook, left hook, and a right punch down to the ground.
So the rumor here is that Tyson could have knocked him out on multiple occasions through the first few rounds, but held back. There's videos going online. I've seen them. You've seen them. I'm sure the listeners have seen them, where his typical moves, the moves that he makes throughout his career, he had the opportunity to make, but did not.
Oh, yeah, and he had multiple chances. And then in one case, you actually see Jake Paul where he's like all open for the punch, and then he swings to punch him and then just puts his head down. His face was wide open. And it almost seems like Jake Paul knows, too, that he's not going to lose because the fight is going to last. And he's, in some cases, I feel like he was throwing his face out there, you know?
So that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean...
Paul's defense was actually really criticized because he was very open the entire time, which is leading to these rumors is that he's fighting against Mike Tyson, age or not. You're fighting against Iron Mike. You got to protect your face because one hit, you're out. But the fact that he was so open is fueling the rumor that the fight was rigged.
And that's why we thought this would be a great episode and something that we can talk about, since there's so many rumors out there, and where else but rumor to go over these details.
Exactly. So along with those points, we also have a boxing expert, Liam Lowe, who suggested that the fight could have been rigged for three main reasons. The first reason is to provide Mike Tyson with a substantial retirement fund. So we all know Mike Tyson was struggling financially in the early 2000s, but he turned it around and is now worth around $10 million right before the fight. Now, he was set to make another $20 million. So who would not take that deal to get 150% of what their entire net worth is with just one fight?
Especially at 58 years old, where you're not going to get another chance to make money like that being a professional boxer.
And then the other part of this is to build Jake Paul's reputation in boxing. So Jake Paul has been trying to build his reputation since he came from the social media side of things. He has been trying to fight, quote, legends, although now there's tons of memes circulating with him fighting people like Joe Biden. And then the infamous, there's some memes going around with him digging up a grave. It's supposed to be Muhammad Ali because he wants to fight Muhammad Ali, because he's not really fighting real boxers. He's fighting people who are retired. Although, I mean, Mike Tyson. So in a way, I'm shocked too. It's kind of disappointing.
I am shocked that they actually did box together. When I first heard the rumor that, there was going to be a boxing match between Paul and Mike, I thought it was just a rumor that, comes around and is going to go back out and nobody's going to hear ever again. And then it became more and more real and real. So I've been hyped up for this, just like many of our listeners. But I would love to see Paul fight McGregor, because now that's the new rumor that he said he challenged McGregor. So I would definitely love to see that fight, or see him find somebody that's still in their prime, in their 30s, and not somebody that's 100 years old.
Well, the thing is that Jake Paul likes to talk a lot. So a lot of the reasons why people weren't even thinking that the Mike Tyson fight was going to happen is because Jake Paul does run his mouth a lot.
Jake Paul, a lot of people need to understand that Jake Paul is a social media character.
Angry. He's an angry little elf. Mike Tyson, I thought that was a cute slap, buddy, but tomorrow you're getting knocked the fuck out. I'm fucking him up, Ariel. I'm fucking him up. He hits like a bitch. It's personal now. It's personal now.
That's what he does. He wants to grab attention so people can follow him and so people can see his videos. So that's what this guy does. Even me, I didn't think that the fight will ever happen because I thought it was just a rumor and just something that he's doing to get more attention, more people, more press, more videos watched. And yeah, so it could be that McGregor thing is the same thing too, just to get more popularity.
He's yacht all the time, but guess where he's not? In the ring fighting me, so he can talk all the he wants, but the notorious MMA is scared of Jake Joseph Paul from Disney Channel.
Yeah,
And a
it was-
professional boxer and jumping the ranks, going to heavyweights, that takes a lot of force, a lot of practice, a lot of talent. And I definitely love to see him fight a qualified fighter within his weight and age limits that we can actually see, does he have it or not? And I mean, he might have it, who knows? But I'd love to see a fair match.
The thing about Jake Paul is that he's fought a few people. The people he's won against, they're not exactly established names. They're not exactly,
Sure.
real, quote, real boxers. He fought someone who was a real boxer and he lost.
Yeah, that was his
So-
first fight. Yeah.
That was his first fight. Now, that could just be that that's his first fight, but we have obviously more to see from Jake Paul as well. But just to go on here to the third point from Liam Lowe, the boxing expert, he thinks the biggest part of this is to generate significant revenue for betting companies, which you had mentioned earlier. So it seems like a legitimate reason. How many people were betting on Tyson? I mean, although the odds were slightly in Paul's favor, when you're looking at the training videos, I would have bet on Tyson. If you see his speed in those videos, he looked like his old fights.
Yes, I mean, it wasn't like his all fights. Sure, he looked clean. We all expected a little bit of, delay, or what should I say? Not the precision, not the speed, but they definitely did not expect it to go that smoothly and the fight to drag that long. I never thought that it would go the full 8 rounds, and although the time was pretty much half the time that you normally see in a boxing match, but nobody expected to go 8 rounds, and I'm sure a lot of bets were put that the game will not make it to 8 rounds, and that could be another reason that they push it to 8 rounds.
That could be it. Now, let me throw something else your way. Did you know that a lot of Tyson's most recent fights, by most recent, I mean before Paul, which was, something like 20 years ago, a lot of Tyson's fights have been speculated to be rigged. Some of the fights, like Tyson versus Kevin McBride, that was in 2005, in what would be Tyson's last professional fight, he lost to McBride by technical knockout in the 6th round. I watched this fight, and I watched it from beginning to end.
Let me interrupt you there, but his last fight before Jake Paul was in 2020 against Roy Jones Jr.
Was that a professional fight? That means counting towards his wins and losses.
I believe that was.
While
It-
DG looks that up, I'll continue. After watching this fight, I really was looking because he lost this fight. He lost his fight by knockout. So I was looking to see if he bit his
So-
glove.
So his last professional, according to New York Times, it was against McBride in 2005.
Which is so that is what I'm referencing. So Tyson versus Kevin McBride in 2005. This was Tyson's last professional fight. That means professional fight counting towards his wins and losses.
Yes, right.
And he lost to McBride by technical knockout in the 6th round. Now, I watched this fight from beginning to end, and I was just looking for some cues because Mike Tyson has not lost a lot. So I wanted to see the fights that he has lost to see if I saw a pattern arising. He did bite his glove just a few times in this fight, but nowhere near the amount of times that he bit his glove during the fight with Paul. That could just be an age thing. I'm not saying that he bites his glove when he rigs a fight, but that Tyson versus Kevin McBride, a lot of people speculated that that was a rigged fight. He was going through some financial troubles in 2005. He had
Yes.
declared for bankruptcy in 2003. So it would make sense that 2 years later, he would rig a fight to make some money. Now, Tyson versus Lennox Lewis, this was in 2002. He also was right before he declared for bankruptcy. A lot of people are saying that that was also rigged. He lost that fight as well. I watched the fight. He was not biting his glove. There is no correlation between biting the glove and losing a fight. So a lot of people are saying, why is he biting his glove? That's not a signal. That's not, I mean, it could have been a signal, but it's definitely not something that he does when he rigs a fight.
Or he could be that he has a biting fixation, just like he
Or he could have a biting fixation. I mean,
Hey. No, but when Mike was at his prime, his professional career, he didn't lose a fight. He didn't want to lose a fight. He was out there building his name. But after these financial problems, it only makes sense that it could be rigged, because when you fight in Mike Tyson, the whole world listens. Is a name that everybody knows. So you're going to get publicity, you're going to get views. Everybody's going to tune into that fight. Doesn't matter. Even if Mike is 100 years old and there's a rumor going around that he's going to fight, everybody's going to want to see that fight, knowing that he most likely is going to lose at a later age if he's fighting professional or not, depending on what age he is. But a lot of it, so if you want to rig a fight and you want to get a lot of people to view it and you want to get a lot of bets, who else but Mike Tyson? That's what you go for. I grew up, I like boxing, so I used to watch it. Not as much as some people might, but, Mike Tyson, ever since I was a little kid, I knew who Mike Tyson was. Everybody did.
I mean, I don't watch boxing at all, and I know who Mike Tyson is, mostly because of the ear bite. So a lot of people know him because he bit a fighter's ear off.
Yeah.
That was something that went down in boxing history. But I still know of Mike Tyson's career, and I know nothing about boxing. So what do you think? We're coming towards the end of going through all the points of what has been speculated to be a rigged fight. Do you think it's rigged?
I have to say that it is. And I don't have any definitive proof of this, but looking at the game and looking at other fights that Mike has boxed, he had too many chances. I feel like Paul was leaving his face wide open, and Mike had way too many chances to knock him out, and he didn't. In some cases, if you look at the videos, which I've seen a lot of them, and pretty soon we'll start uploading some videos here for viewers to watch so you can get a better understanding of what we're talking about. There was just a lot of shots that he could have taken and knocked him out. In the first round, you saw him going a couple of throwing a couple of nice punches, and you saw Jake Paul was like, whoa, he didn't expect him to be, that hard.
There were moments where he was saying, hey, Mike, don't forget about our contract.
Yeah. Well, at the point when he goes over there, he's like, hey, take it easy, chill. And I think it was rigged. To make a long story short, I think it was definitely rigged.
So I lean towards it. A lot of this stuff, when you add it all together, it leans towards being a rigged fight. But
we'll definitely like your feedback. Please write to us and let us know your thoughts. What do you guys think? Why was it rigged? Was it rigged? And if it was rigged, why do you think it was rigged? And if it wasn't rigged, why do you think it wasn't rigged?
And personally, I really just wanted to see Jake Paul lose and his brother. I mean, calling out Mike like that at the end, that was not exactly respectful to the greatest boxer of all time. But I just want to end by saying, in case you're wondering if Mike Tyson ever avenged the loss of Muhammad Ali to Larry Holmes, you can be sure he did. Mike Tyson beat Larry Holmes by technical knockout in the 4th round in 1988. Now, rumor has it, Muhammad Ali was thankful. So thank you for tuning in to this week's episode, and join us next week where we take a deep dive on the next rumor. I'm FJ.
And I'm DJ.
And this is Rumor.